Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all fit and well out there in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today it's a special one. Yes, it's the long-awaited, highly anticipated INART the Batman, aka Robert Pattinson from the 2022 Matt Reeves directed The Batman movie. The review will take the usual format. We will have a quick look at this rather large box, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories, then it will be out with Vengeance himself for a close-up look, and then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end, where we may have to reintroduce Bats to his nemesis Riddler. So, before we get started, shout out some backgrounds. Firstly, to everyone who subscribed to and supported the channel since we first started, a massive thank you and thumbs up. Thank you one and all. And to those of you watching the content but not subscribing, come on, throw caution to the wind and mash that subscribe and bell notification icon. It's cost and pain free. Not only will you be helping us to carry on doing what we're doing here at Go Figure, but you'll be able to virtue signal to the rest of the world that you helped an old man in his collecting dotage. Also, a massive shout out to William Wang over at One Man's Hobby for sourcing me this figure. Regulars to the channel will know that's where I get a lot of my figures. You're a gent and a consummate professional as always. There'll be a link to his website in the description below, so if it's anything 1/6 scale you're after, check out the website, and if it's something perhaps a little bit more obscure, drop him a line. I am sure he'll be more than willing to help you out. So, background. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way before we get started. And this is just my opinion, so please don't hang me on this one. And it's controversial, but for me, Mr. Pattinson is a great Batman, but as Bruce Wayne, he just comes across as a sort of self-absorbed emo teenager in need of a reality check. In trying to be a dark detective story, the Batman works in some places, but often just comes across as an attempt to do Saw or Seven with a cape. It's too dark, and I don't mean in tone, I mean literally, it's too dark to see what's happening half the time. And as much as I love Andy Serkis, his take on Alfred doesn't work for me. He comes across more snatch than superhero manservant. The pacing's off, the movie itself is overly long, and the ending set piece, well, that feels contrived, lackluster, and like it was tagged on from a completely different film. That's my rant over. So, Mr. Go Figure, why do you have a figure from a movie you don't particularly like? I hear you all collectively cry. Well, two main reasons. Number one, as regulars to my channel will know, I am a huge Batman fan. He's the character that appears most in my collection. And I'm a bit of a completionist, so yeah, I had to have the Batman. Also, I know this is probably hard to believe, but I don't actually own an INART figure. Yeah, as odd as that might seem, in all my years of collecting, I have somehow managed to avoid INART up until this point. So I wanted to test the water before going all in with INART. I know there's a lot of, I wouldn't say controversy, but opinions are divided regarding INART, their price point. They seem to have a very, very strong fan base. However, the naysayers believe that they're overpriced and that the quality isn't as good as it's said to be. I'm going to try and put all that to one side in this review. And I'm going to try and be as objective as I possibly can. As I say, never owned an INART figure before, so yeah, we're going to try and look at this with a completely open mind. So yeah, let's crack on with this box. That's enough of my Cape Crusader and INART ramblings, and it is a big box too. Straight away, what I will say, this is the standard version, as it says here at the bottom now. Probably regret that now, actually, to be honest. Part of me is saying I should have gone in and gone for the deluxe all singing, all dancing version. But as I say, this is my first time dipping my toes in the water with INART, so I thought I'd take it steady. But yeah, the box. Now, this is a big box. Not particularly big frontage, but it's got a deep back here. There's a lot going on. I'm assuming there's quite a few layers in here. And worth mentioning as well at this point, actually, I'll try and get this in shot while we're talking about this. This figure itself came in the usual INART brown shipper, but actually inside the brown shipper is another shipping box. And I'll see if I can't get this thing in shot so you can see it. Just move this one over a little bit. Yeah, just the first time I've seen this, and it's got a separate shipper within the shipper, which has got the details on here, and this is Batman collectible figure, and there's this sort of this pattern, this circuitry board style pattern on here as well. So yeah, nice to see two shipper boxes. So we'll put that to one side and crack on with the real box, so to speak. It's got this plastic cover on the front, which this slip cover, which comes off. What you've got on the front, we'll actually take it off at this point, because I mean all that you've really got on there, as you can see, and it's this red colour, is you've got the Batman logo in black. So when it's slipped over the top there, it covers this this relief section here. It says Batman standard version at the bottom there, 1/6 scale collectible figure. The only real thing of note on this slip cover is it says "I know what I must become." Obviously Riddler's writing there, so we'll put that slip cover to one side and take a look at the rest of the box. So what are we looking at? Yeah, you've got a picture of the cowl on the front there, the Batman logo, DC's logo there, INART's logo there, 1/6 scale collectible figures across the top, DC and Warner again at the bottom, the Batman logo and INART logos at the bottom, then there again. On the side it just says the Batman. Flip it round this way, nothing much on this side other than the Batman standard version and INART again. Bring it round to the back and it says "I am the shadows," and you've got these sort of grey, almost digitized bats on the back, another black bat there, and once again it says "I know what I must become." So yeah, that's the box. Now it's a magnetically clamped box and it is huge, and we'll try and open this up on camera. Just puts me in mind of Hot Toys DX versions. Stuff might fall out at this point, which I think it's going to. Getting all this in shot's not going to be easy. The instructions have just fallen out. But what you're greeted with on the inside, if I can manhandle this enormous box round, is you've got this rather nice relief shot here, almost like a pencil drawing, a silhouette of the cowl, the Batman cowl. Once again, it says Batman in the corner there. And the INART logo, and then you've got this foam covering which lifts away to reveal the figure itself, which I'm assuming, as I said before, is layered down in this box. So yeah, literally this has just come through the door. I've just snatched it out of the hands of the FedEx man and it's gone straight in front of the camera. So what we'll do next is what we always do. We'll get out all the accessories, dive down onto the table and have a look at everything that comes with the Batman figure. Okay, so here we are, down on the table with all the accessories that come with your INART the Batman figure. And there's a hell of a lot to go at here, so we'll speed through these. Otherwise, we're going to be here for a week and a day on these. We'll start with the hands, as we always do. You've got 5 pairs of hands. That's 10 hands in total. There's an open palm pair on the figure itself that we'll take a look at when we bring the figure out. We'll grab a couple at random, and there's all manner of hands going on here. We've got fisted hands, we've got gesticulating hands, there's a pointing hand, just a huge variety. But as I say, we'll grab a couple at random just to have a look at the sculpt and the paint applications here. And straight away, these look very good to me. The colour looks on point, the sculpt looks really, really good. The detailing on there is phenomenal. They picked out the sculpt work in there, the ribs, the knuckles of the fingers, the padding in the gloves themselves on the knuckles and in the fingers is really, really good. The stitch work's been picked out in the palms, as have the creases. You've got a sort of brown dry brushing stroke wash in there to give it that slightly worn look. There's a creasing at the wrist there, the cuff section. Overall, you're just very, very good, exceptionally good, in fact. The level of detail on there is fantastic. Paint applications are great. Let's do the flexibility test. Yeah, you've got a soft to medium here, which is always good in my book when it comes to gripping accessories. And the pièce de résistance is, as you can possibly see in there, all these hands are magnetic, which is fantastic to see. One of the banes of my life are wrist pegs snapping, wrist pegs not fitting in, not having enough wrist pegs, just wrist pegs. The fact that there are no wrist pegs here is great to see. How secure these magnets are, we will find out when we bring the figure out. As I say, this is a brand new figure. Literally, this is the first time I've seen these accessories just prior to this take. So yeah, the hands are looking very, very good. We'll just grab one more just to double check. We'll check this fisted hand, and yeah, once again, the same level of paint applications, the same level of detail, the same level of sculpt. So yeah, that's all the hands. So let's put those to one side to make some room. We'll just take a look at some of these paper accessories. I say accessories, they're just bits that are included. You get a plethora of stuff as well that comes along with it. You get this this card here, which is actually designed to look like some kind of data card, some kind of computer card with this this bar section on the left-hand side. But this it's sort of a cross between a display nameplate and an identity card. But yeah, it's nicely done. Very, very thick premium card. Picture of Mr. Pattinson on the front there. It says the Batman 2022, the Batman, Batman again at the bottom. And I believe in this this crease here is so you can fold it and possibly have it stood up next to the figure if you want to. So yeah, that's included. You also get this card, and I haven't a clue what this card is because I don't speak this language, but it is what it is. So that's that card. You get a set of instructions, and this is probably one of the biggest sets of instructions I have ever seen with a 6-scale figure. Literally, I have had cars with smaller instruction manuals, but it's really well presented, super high gloss, super detailed, very, very thick glossy paper in there with this plastic cover, not dissimilar to a smartphone's instruction manual. So yeah, and no doubt I will be referring to that. Well, in fact, I already have prior to this take. So yeah, we'll pop those to one side off camera. You also get this silver envelope. I was a little intrigued by this one, but when you open this envelope up, what's inside is a very nice letter from INART congratulating you on your choice of figure. So yeah, if you wanted to read that, hit the pause button. So yeah, that's included as well. Let's move swiftly on. What else? Let's have a look at some of this weaponry. Yeah, the grapple gun. We'll take a look at the grapple gun. Grapple gun comes in 2 pieces. Now these are fixed to the forearms of the figure itself. Try and get them both in shot. Well, just get one in shot. It'll help the camera focus. Relatively thin plastic. They've got some clips on the back here. You simply remove the section on the forearm and then clip this in. And once you've done that, you can then add one of the 4 grapple hooks themselves. We'll bring the long one into shot. Now these are very nicely done. These are metal. The whole shaft of this is metal, so it will keep its rigidity in the display. The heads, I believe, are plastic, but yeah, once you've applied this to the forearm, you simply slot that in there, and we'll take a look at this when we bring the figure out as well. And yeah, so you can simulate him firing the grapple gun as well. So you can use a long version, or there's a short version. We'll put the short version here, and there's a left and a right arm version of the grapple gun as well. So and we'll pop that in there. So yeah, depending on your choice of display, you can have it left or right, long or short. So yeah, that's the grapple gun. We'll move those out of the way. What else do you get? Couple of batarangs. Now these are all metal, really, really nice to see. The detailing on here is very, very good. So we'll start with this one. So focus on this one. They finished in this sort of super high gloss paint application. They don't fold, unfortunately, but yeah, the detail is really good. The screen accuracy is there. The sculpt's on point. Paint application's great, even down to the yellow paint there, and some silver dry brushing on there to pick out the details, and there's even scratches and the odd dink and burr in it to make them look used. That's continued on both sides. Got some weight to them as well. They feel solid and quality. So yeah, 2 of those, one opened, well, one fully locked in position and one partially locked in position, but yeah, that's got the same level of detail on it as well. So that's 2 batarangs. Sticky bomb gun, all one piece of sculpted plastic. This very nicely detailed. I don't think he actually used this in the film. I tried to revisit the film and stop concentrating, as I mentioned at the top there. Not my favourite of the Batman films, so perhaps not as switched onto it as I should have been in the rewatch prior to this review to pick up on the details. But yeah, we'll bring some photos out for some comparisons when we've got the figure assembled. But yeah, I digress, and we don't need that. So, sticky bomb gun, all one piece of sculpted plastic, looks screen accurate to me, although I don't think he had it out. I think he spent most of his time in the holster in the movie. But yeah, nice attention to detail there. There's some silver paint applications, there's some black dry brushing on there to give some weathering. There's some yellow sections on there. Detailing really, really nice. paint applications absolutely on point, and just very nicely done. So put that to one side. You get an array of other stuff. Now, most of this stuff is to actually go in the utility belt, so we'll take a quick look at this utility belt. Now, this is where I had a little bit of an issue on getting this thing straight out of the box and seeing it. Although it looks fantastic when you lift that lid and take a look inside, and it does look high-end because there's so much of it, I couldn't help but think, why isn't this utility belt actually attached to him? Now, I know, there's concerns about damage to 6 scale figures in transit, but this is a nylon utility belt. It's not really going to get damaged in transit, so, why not attach this in the factory? But, there, it is what it is. It's nicely done. It's, what you've got a combination of materials here. The main body of the belt here being a plastic, a sculpted plastic, and then you've got these separate sections that have been attached. I believe these are leather. Some of them are leather, some of them are a man-made fabric, like a nylon, but the stitching is nice. You've got a combination of, I think these are metal. They're cold to the touch, but they could be plastic. These buckles here, then you've got these individual pouches, which are velcroed shut, once again made of nylon. Then you've got some plastic sculpted sections as well, which have got, I don't believe these open, but these have got more of the adrenaline shots in, which we'll take a look at. So yeah, very nicely done. And it's even got some weathering on it, as you can see here on the buckle sections. There's scratches and weathering on there. You've got some of the grenades in these pouches, even down to the clips themselves, where it attaches, where the, and I believe this is for the sticky bomb gun, actually attaches to the thigh, have been weathered as well. Yeah, so really, really nicely done there. But as I say, can't understand why it wasn't attached to the figure, but it is what it is. So we'll put that to one side. We'll take a look at what goes in the belt. You've got a couple of spare, now I believe these are smoke grenades. Somebody correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But you've got these grenades, I'll call them grenades for want of a better expression. But yeah, all one piece of sculpted plastic with a clip on the back, so they clip into the utility belt. Some dry brushing on there, some silver dry brushing to give it some weathering, and some yellow paint to pick out the details. 2 of those, which can go on your utility belt, so we'll put those to one side. Variety of other stuff as well, including the UV light and the adrenaline shots. 2 adrenaline shots here. I think there's some, as I mentioned already, in the utility belt. 1 piece of sculpted high gloss plastic with some silver dry brushing on there, and some yellow paint application to pick out the details. So you get 2 of those. Same story with the UV light. Yeah, same paint applications. That black high gloss. This one's slightly different with it being opened up, but yeah. Just nice sculpt, nice paint application, and as far as I can see, screen accurate. So 2 of those. Finally, you get a flashlight. Now, the flashlight itself, all 1 piece of sculpted plastic. It feels like plastic, although that top section might be metal. I might be mistaken there, but yeah, really, really nicely done. Just very simple, but does have a party piece. This, you pop the end off here. And that's stayed inside. There is actually this section inside. Now, I believe if you give that a twist, pop that back in there, that section, it is actually a functioning flashlight, which is nice to see. I can't believe that that's going to last particularly long with the size of the pellet in there with the LED in it. The battery must be absolutely tiny, so I would say this has got minutes, not hours of battery life. But yeah, not something I'd use in the display, but it's there if you want to. So yeah, we'll deactivate that. There you go, and pop that to one side. So that's the working flashlight. You also get these metal handcuffs, really nicely detailed and sculpted. Paint application's great. You've got some black in there. There's a little bit of weathering in the joints there, and these actually move, which is nice to see. They're actually hinged. And full metal as well. I don't think this would have worked had they done these in plastic. This would, if they had tried to hinge plastic on this scale, it would have simply broken. So nice to see they've gone with the metal. The cuff section of these doesn't open or close. I don't believe it does. I think it's about to call me a liar. I suspect it might do. Yes, it does. So yeah, these handcuffs actually do function as well. So nice touch there from INART. They really, it's the attention to detail here that really stands out. So yeah, the handcuffs there. Finally, I'm not going to go through all of these simply because there's so many of them, but you've got pretty much replicas of all the cards that he sends to the Batman, the Riddler sends to the Batman during the film. We'll pick a couple out at random. And the first thing that struck me when I got these out of the box is the screen accuracy. We'll grab this one. Now, a lot of the time, these things are made out of paper. What INART have done here is gone for a really high quality card, and they've captured that image perfectly. So screen accuracy on point, even down to the writing on the inside as well. What does a liar do when he's dead? I haven't a clue. Let's play a game, just me and you, with the symbols in there. And there's a whole variety of these, and I say all of them are accurate to the film as far as I can tell, and they all come with a corresponding envelope as well, with the writing to the Batman on the front, in various sizes. So yeah, there you have all the cards and all the envelopes to go with the cards. So we'll push those to one side. You also get a worthy of mention, just for the fact that it's included, is you get a set of these buttons. Now 6-scale collectors will recognise these. These are for normally for things like dress suits and things and shirts, when the ones that are attached fall off. So I'm not quite sure why they've included this in art. I'm assuming maybe it just goes in as a standard drop into every box, and this is designed for the deluxe pack, which comes with the Bruce Wayne. So that's what I'm assuming on those. So we'll put those to one side. Let's take a quick look at this base before we move on to the cape and the head sculpts. So the base, yeah. Now, all one piece of sculpted plastic. It's hollow, and there's a reason for it being hollow. What you're looking at here, it's a relatively simplistic design. It's sort of this matte black with the bat symbol in the center there, and just sort of these some detailing on the side here with some silver dry brushing, if the camera's catching that. You've got the Batman logos, which is sculpted into the front there. That dry brushing is continued around the side, over to the back. The bottom, rather, no feet on here, which is very unusual to see. I would have expected with a figure at this price point to have some kind of felt padded feet on the bottom, so it doesn't slide around in the display, but it is what it is. On the bottom here is this twist section. Now, I encountered my first issue with this straight out of the box. Now, you can probably see on the top here, I mean, obviously it says the Batman and there's all the details there, but on the top here, if the camera will pick this up, there's an arrow. Now, when this is open, the arrow lines up with these two dots. When it's closed, it lines up with the one dot. It's staying open at this point because I really had an issue with this straight out of the box. And I'll just tap this so that this center section comes out. Now, what's supposed to happen is you twist this from the lock position to the open position, and it falls out. This did not want to open straight out of the box. It was jam solid. It took about half an hour to get this thing to open, and I had to put a screwdriver into a tiny screwdriver into these gaps on either side to open it up. And it really did feel like it was going to snap at some point. So yeah, very stiff. So a word of caution there. Watch out for that if you're picking this figure up. But once you take that section off, what you're greeted with is the magnetic part of the stand itself. These are the magnets to actually will correspond to where the feet are on the figure itself. Obviously, there are magnets in the feet. Now these move around. Be careful not to catch the camera here, but you can see these move around inside, and they move up and down and laterally as well. So you can really pretty much position the feet where you want them for the figure to stand. If you've got it in a dynamic pose, maybe the feet will be a little bit further apart. If you've got him in a vanilla museum pose, maybe close together. If you want him forward or backward within on the stand, you can. And I think that's a great idea. I really do like that idea. I mean, the only issue I can see is if you go for sort of quite a wide spread of the legs and you push them all the way down there, it's going to be a bugger to get them back out. You might need to get a screwdriver or something in there to pull these magnets back out. But yeah, a nice solution there, and I like the idea. So let's flip it over, and on the front we've got what is a very, very simple design. You've got this sort of metallic effect floor, as I mentioned before, with the bat symbol in, with just some silver dry brushing really to pick out the details, and it's relatively simple, but effective. It's not overly done. It's understated, shall we say. So yeah, that's the base. We'll put that to one side. We'll take a look at this cape. Now, this is my first time, obviously, with this cape. Now, I believe this cape is leather. Now, straight out of the box, when I picked it up, it didn't feel like leather to me. It doesn't feel like leather. It feels pleathery. I have to say, it doesn't feel like leather. Now, if I'm getting this wrong and this isn't actually leather, please, somebody correct me in the comment section below. But if that is leather, it doesn't feel like it to me. But yeah, let's take a look at this thing. It is fully wired, as we'd expect for a figure at this price point, but we'll open this thing up fully on camera now. I've heard people say this is too big, that this cape actually is too big for the figure. I would have to refer back to the film. I will wait till I've got it actually we've got it onto the figure itself for that judgment. But overall, I think it looks really nice. It's got that high gloss sheen, which it has in the film. It's dirtied around the edges here. If the camera's catching that, I'll try and get this into shot. You've got this weathering at the bottom here. Once again, that's screen accurate with some of the mud splatters going up the back of the cape. The stitch work is really nice. Now you've got wiring all the way to the top, down here. So you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wires in the cape, running lengthways, and then you've got one continuous wire, what feels like one continuous wire. I know it's not. One wire running down there, and then a continuous wire running across the bottom here. Apologies for catching the camera there. Let's bring it round to this side as well. Just so we can get an idea of it. But yeah, the finish is nice. I like the weathering on here. On the inside, we've got this man-made fibre, feels like a nylon. And then at the top here is this Velcro fastening. Now this simply attaches these two sections here. This one, I'll get this in camera so you can see it. This one attaches around the front of the figure itself when you remove the breastplate, and this Velcro section here attaches at the back. So it's a relatively simple cape to attach to the figure. But overall, yeah, I'm liking this a lot. We'll reserve final judgment as to the length of this and the screen accuracy for when we've got the figure out, got it on the figure, and we're comparing it to some photographs. So yeah, that's the cape. Put that to one side. Finally, the head sculpt now. This is the standard edition, as I mentioned at the top there, and there's a head sculpt already on the figure. That is the Bruce Wayne. Well, there are three here. There's the Bruce Wayne, which is Pattinson without the makeup. Then there's the one that comes with this one, which is the sort of uncowled Batman with the sculpted hair. Then you've got a rooted hair version. The one we're looking at here, we won't go into all the variations of the head sculpts here, but the one you're looking at with the standard version, which is the one that we'll look at when we bring the figure out, is the sculpted hair uncowled version. What we've got here is the cowl version. We'll take a quick look at this spare cowl. Now this is designed obviously for him to hold or to have next to him when he hasn't got it on. Yeah, it's one piece of sculpted plastic. There's some give in there. The sculpt looks really, really good to me. Now, as I say, I am not the biggest fan of the film, so I can't go into the minutiae of the details like a lot of other reviewers have on social media about cowls and about neck pieces and so on, and about the variations between the INART and the Hot Toys version. I simply don't have that knowledge. I'll hold my hands up straight away. But what I'm giving my subjective opinion based on my experience. But to me, this cowl looks absolutely spot on. It does. The colours look right with that grey seam area running around the forehead to the back of the ears there. There are dinks in there. There are some scratches. It's been knocked and weathered. The paint applications are really nice. It's not that jet black. It's that almost dark grey. I think probably the best way to describe it, which to me is screen accurate. But as I say, we'll bring some shots out when we bring the figure out. So yeah, really nicely sculpted, really nicely painted, and screen accurate as far as I can tell. So that's the spare cowl. And finally, the cowled head sculpt. Now, and I shall pause for breath. What are we looking at here? Okay, there's a neck solution going on here, which I really do like. The neck itself actually attaches by a magnet straight into the secondary part of the neck. We'll take a look at how that works, as I say, when we bring the figure out. But yeah, overall, this head sculpt now, I have to say, I am very, very impressed. To be able, and I've said this about a number of Batman figures, probably most recently the Val Kilmer Batman figure, to be able to spot an actor from the lower portion of his face means you've got a good sculpt on your hands, and there's no mistake in this as Pattinson. Now this head sculpt and neck section do come apart, so you can swap out the heads, and it's the ease of swapping out the head here as well that I really like. That magnet solution there, and then you've obviously got this section in that goes on here. The whole thing is just so easy. As with the hands. But yeah, let's have a look at the detailing here. The sculpting on this neck portion of the cowl looks really, really nice. Once again, it's the same as the cowl that we just looked at. You've got that dry brushing in there, those washers to give it that weathered but leather look. The paint applications give it a material look. It's sculpted in stitch work there. Those dinks are there as well. This looks pretty much identical to the other cowl that we just looked at. Mouth plate here now. 3 interchangeable mouth plates. You've got the neutral one, the I'm getting slightly angry one, and then the I am batshit crazy one. Yeah, very, very good indeed, as far as I can see. The skin tone is there. The paint applications are great. There's texturing on there. There's a roughness around where the 5 o'clock shadow would be on this face, which you can actually feel. Now, to swap these mouth plates out, you simply pop the head off and get your finger under here, exercising some caution because they are magnetized and they are very, very stiff. So it's just a sort of a slide out and lift up motion. And you can take that mouth plate out and pop in one of the alternate ones. We'll go with that one. Yeah, the sculpting on the teeth here is really, really nice. The paint applications on there, there's almost an ivory enamelled look to those teeth. Very, very good indeed. And not a vast amount of detail in this lower portion of the face, but yeah, unmistakably, Mr. Pattinson there. Moving up, the eyes. Now, this is another thing that I had a minor issue with straight out of the box. I'm going to take this faceplate off so we can get this into shot and you can see this. Yeah, now, it's got an independent eye rolling system, which involves... now, if the camera can catch this, I'm just going to see it under the light. There are 2 levers in there behind each of the eyes, which you can move around. Now, as I mentioned, as viewers to my channel will know, and I've mentioned this on a number of occasions, I've got sausage fingers, but they're not the sausagest fingers in the world, if that's a word. I'm making words up now. They're not the fattest fingers in the world, but yeah, to alter these eyes, you need to get your finger inside here. Now, even using my little finger, it is very difficult to alter one of these eyes without altering the other eye. And the accuracy here is just, it's not the easiest. It's very, very haphazard. I don't know whether you can see that in there because they're so deeply set, obviously, into the head sculpt itself. I can't help but think INART would have been better employing a different approach to altering these eyes. Maybe an approach like Hot Toys have with a tool that you can actually insert into the head and alter each eye individually. The problem here is, even with my little finger, if I get a little finger in there, I'm touching both of these, and they're both going to move, and it's going to be a real pain altering these eyes. So yeah, perhaps not the best independently moving eye solution I have ever seen. Let's put this last faceplate on before we move on, yeah, to the totally angry one. But overall, I think that head sculpt is absolutely spot on. So there you have it. That's all the bits and pieces that come with your INART Batman, and there's a lot of them. So without further ado, let's bring out Vengeance himself. Let's get him onto the stand, onto the turntable, and take an up-close look. We're going to do it in two sections. We're going to have a look at him without any of the accessories on, so we can get an idea of what's going on underneath, and then we'll do a quick cut to him fully tooled up. So without further ado, let's bring out the Batman himself. Okay, so here he is, straight out of the box, straight onto the stand, straight onto the turntable. It is the Batman. We're going to try and keep this section brief because we want to do a section of him actually fully tooled up and caped up. But yeah, first impressions are very, very good. Proportions look spot on. The suit looks absolutely nailed on. Screen accuracy is there. The colours are right. That head sculpt looks phenomenal. Yeah, very, very impressive. But we'll do what we always do. We'll stop him from spinning, get him off this stand and up close for a quick look at him, starting at the bottom and working our way up as we always do. One thing worthy of note is this stand. Now, I've got a number of figures in my collection that have magnetized stands. Mostly caustic plastic. This one doesn't feel 100% secure. It has some wobble in it, as you can probably see. You get a little bit of a jiggle there, and it does move around a bit. I don't think it's going to fall over, but it's perhaps not quite as secure as some magnetized stands I've seen. So we'll get him off. And we'll get him into shot and take a quick look at the detailing here. So yeah, split cut boot design here, nicely weathered. Tread on the bottom there that's been weathered as well. Moving up to these the top parts of these boots, which match really well. Same level of weathering there, same detailing that we saw on the other accessories, picking out the slight yellow accents which are continued up the side. The materials here are really, really nice. High quality. It feels high quality. This sculpted in plastic section here with the sort of string-like effect, really well done. All these clips and so on are Velcro fastened, which is nice to see. The padded sections slightly different. They've been weathered. Yeah, the screen accuracy, the colour particularly looks really, really good to me. As I mentioned at the top there, I don't own the Hot Toys version, so I've got nothing to compare this to. So I'm going off what I've got in hand here, and it feels premium in hand. It really does. There's some weight to this figure, even without the accessories on. So yeah. The stitch work is really, really nice in this suit. You've got these sculpted in zips at the back here. That sort of plastic rib section runs all the way up to the shoulders. Probably wondering why there's a big blob of Velcro there. That's for attaching the cape, as we mentioned in the accessories section, and we'll see when we cut to the fully caped up version. You've got functioning, well, they're not functioning zips, but you've got 6-scale zips here. With proper zips going down the back. I'm assuming they're just there for show. Let's take a look at the top part of the body here now. We'll get him actually getting stood up here. This whole section here of the body is padded underneath the body itself. It's quite heavily padded to give him the right proportions, but it just gives it like I say, a premium feel. You get up to this chest plate. Now this chest plate is removable. This comes off. And it's Velcroed on. Now, I'm not awfully keen on this idea of all this Velcro on here, because Velcro, as we know, doesn't stand the test of time very well. But yeah, this really only needs to come off for when you're taking the cape on and off, which then attaches underneath here. But yeah, the weathering on here is really, really nice. There's dry brushing on there, on this breastplate section. The paint applications have actually, and the sculptor are actually picking out scratches and marks, ever so slight dinks and burrs in there. It's not perfect. This bat symbol comes out, it's magnetized and can go straight back in again, which is nice to see. Shoulder pads, once again, you've got that same level of paint application. There's a graying effect going into the black, once again with scratches and burrs and all kinds of weathering going on there. Paint applications in particular on this upper shoulder pad are really, really nice. Give it that metallic look. It really does look like solid metal there. Only one downside I've got as well, once again, is that these shoulder pads are Velcroed on. Now, and I noticed this straight out of the box. Now, because of the nature of it being material underneath here, and the way it moves, you've got a fold in the Velcro here, which means that this shoulder pad isn't ever going to be 100% securely attached unless you spend quite some time futzing this costume down to fit on. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a minor niggle. Let's look at these forearms now. Very nicely done they are as well. Too, you've got the sculpting in here and the paint applications to give that metal effect. These sections on the back of the gauntlets themselves are plastic, and they've got some give to them, which is nice to see. The hands come off relatively easily, and you've got magnets on the pegs there, so it's simply a case of taking the hand off and popping your hand out. As we mentioned in the accessories section, that's an absolute godsend in my world. But yeah, let's take a look around the back. Yeah, just the same great level of detailing in there. Fantastic stitch work, screen accuracy on point. Let's just take a quick look at the inside of these gauntlets. This is where the grapple guns go, and all you need to do here, I'll get this into shot, is if you just lift these out, they're pegged in, you simply peg in the grapple gun itself, put in the appropriate hand, and you're good to go with the grapple gun. So we'll see if we can't get that back in there in shot with one hand, and I'm going to struggle there, I think, but yeah, they simply peg back into place, and he said confidently, trying to do this while keeping it in shot with one hand is not the easiest thing in the world, but yeah, corresponds on either side, so you can put grapple gun in either of the two hands. So yeah, let's finally, before we get him fully kitted out, let's take a quick look at this head sculpt, this secondary head sculpt. This is the sculpted hair version, as I mentioned before. Yeah, absolutely on point as far as I'm concerned. That hair is wonderfully done. The strands are picked out brilliantly. The paint applications are on point. The colour is right. Unmistakably Pattinson. You got a really good range of motion in there, down to, although it's a fixed neck head sculpt, that's down to the fact that this is magnetised. And I'll just show actually, you just lift that off, and the magnets on the inside there corresponds to that. You can swap out the heads accordingly, and they just simply pull off, and occasionally that does happen. Actually, I noticed this is probably one of the other minor niggles, is that occasionally you will actually bring the whole head mounting off as well, which you'll need to attach. Sometimes the amount of pressure, it's such a strong magnet, I think gripping the neck sometimes is, no, it's done it again. Yeah, that's probably a minor complaint there for me as well, is the fact that the amount of pressure you need to put on, because that magnet is so strong to get that head sculpt off, you have a tendency to bring the whole neck mounting with it, which is annoying sometimes. Sort of defeats the object of having a magnetized head sculpt, but it is what it is. But overall, I think that head sculpt is absolutely spot on. The skin tones and textures are really, really well painted. The sculpt itself, as I say, unmistakably Pattinson. The eyes are nice and glassy. That black paint application around the eyes for when he's wearing the cowl looks absolutely on point to me. Overall, yeah, that is just, if I was just scoring the head sculpt, this one, that would be a 9.5, probably a 10 actually. Yeah, that would be a 10. I think in the head sculpt department, particularly in that profile. That profile is phenomenal. So yeah, let's pop him back on the magnetized base. What we'll do next is we will cut to the fully tooled up version and go in for final thoughts before the showcase. So yeah, cut to the cape. Okay, so here he is, fully tooled up, fully caped up, and I've done something I don't normally do on this channel, and I've actually dimmed the lights a little bit. I brought the lights right down because this is the kind of figure that really displays, I think, that much better in subdued lighting. So I just thought we'd wrap the whole thing up with a little bit of subdued lighting for a change. We'll try them under some brighter lighting when we go over to the showcase after we've wrapped this whole thing up. But yeah, final thoughts on this guy. Well, let's stop him from spinning. It's a mixed bag, but overall, the bag itself is pretty much full to the brim with nothing but praise for this figure. Yeah, the proportions absolutely spot on. The screen accuracy is 100% there. The head sculpt is phenomenal. The suit is just beautifully made, beautifully tailored. incredibly well engineered. The magnetic hands, the magnetic head, the magnetic base and feet are all massive wins for me. They just take that much stress out of the 1/6 scale collecting hobby. Just simple things like that. It's not without its flaws. It does have a few minor niggles, but I thought what we'd do at this point, just as a comparison, and I'm going to try and get him in a little bit closer. What I'll do is I'm going to lift this camera up and just angle him. And this was part of the reason for having this subdued lighting in the wrap-up section. It's just so we could take a look at just how accurate this actually is. Now, if I can get that in shot, turn him a little bit. The lighting is different. The arrangement on the belt section here is different here. I'm going to have to do some futzing with this belt to get it 100% screen accurate. Fortunately, the majority of the bits and pieces on this belt actually just clip on, so I can move them around to get the look that I'm going for. That's about the closest I could get to the look there. If I can bring this into shot, you can get if the camera will get it to focus on both, which is not the easiest thing in the world, but you can see there, yeah, the screen accuracy is absolutely on point. The colours are on point. Slightly different light here. It's a whiter light here. I'm using a slightly warmer white, but you get the idea. The accuracy is completely there. 100% to the colours, to the sculpt, to the outfit, to everything. So yeah, it's a win here. I think for INART, most certainly, and for my first experience of INART, I have to say it's a massively positive one. There are a few minor niggles. The vast amount of Velcro on there, I'm not the biggest fan of Velcro, but that's a personal thing. Maybe there may have been another solution for those shoulder pads. The magnets in the base could be stronger, and they could have... just increase the strength and size of the magnets. I think that would have helped the stability of the figure a bit better. This cape, I'm going to bring him round. This cape, I don't think this cape is too long, and I've heard other reviewers say that this cape is too long. I personally don't think it is. But and I love what they've done here with the weathering, and the colours absolutely spot on. I don't know whether it's just the wiring solution, but this thing, and I've been futzing it with it for about the past hour, and I cannot get this thing to stay down for the life of me. I can't. It wants to fly off all over the place, and I prefer that look for this particular iteration of Batman. And I think it's more screen accurate to have that fall that drops, and it's a little bit more flat across the shoulders like that. And to get this thing to actually stay down is not the easiest thing in the world. I think it might involve actually taking this breastplate off and futzing around with the positioning of the Velcro underneath to somehow try and calm this down a little bit, because I think that sections here where it's coming over the shoulders and creating that gap is losing a bit of screen accuracy for me. I prefer that kind of fall, if that makes sense, to it flying away the way it does. But yeah, I think that's it's going to be some futzing for me off camera before the showcase. But yeah, overall, other minor niggles. It would have been nice to see INART actually sending this figure out with the belt already attached. That's a pain in the proverbials, and put me in mind of did figures where you have to construct it yourself. And really, at this price point, that shouldn't be something that we're having to do. I heard one of the reviewer describe that as we're 6-scale figure collectors. We're not model builders. And you know, it's I see the point there, particularly at this price point. But yeah, overall, I think it's an absolutely phenomenal figure, bar a couple of minor gripes, which are going to maybe bring it down to a 9.9, a 9.8. But really, I suppose at the end of the day, the question is it worth the price point? I think that's a personal decision. I really do. Me personally, yes. And coming from a film that I'm not the biggest fan of, I still think this figure is most certainly worth the price of admission. And as well, I'll say off the bat as well, INART, for my first INART figure, yeah, thoroughly impressed. Most certainly will be looking at more of their work in the collection in the coming weeks, months and years. And yeah, massively impressed. So there you have it. That is INART's take on Robert Pattinson as the Batman. So please, what's your opinion on this figure? Do you have it in your collection? What are your thoughts on this? Is it something you've got on pre-order? Is it something that's you're thinking of picking up? I'll be fascinated to find out. Please pop a comment in the comment section below. Also, maybe your thoughts on INART as well. I'd be fascinated to hear as well, because there is much debate in the 6 scale community there about INART and their figures. So if you know, I'd be massively interested to hear your thoughts as well. So that about wraps it up for this review. I know it's been slightly longer than normal, but I think under the circumstances we needed this time for this kind of deep dive into this figure, and I hope it's been useful, as I mentioned before. So what's coming up on the channel? We have a raft load of things coming in, and I don't have my list with me. So I'm going to do this off the top of my head. What's coming in the 6 scale world? We've got the Caustic Plastic Horror of Dracula Deluxe Edition. We have the Astro Boy, Blitzway Astro Boy version 2. We've got a shed load of present toys stuff. I won't even bother to list all that because there's a huge amount of it. In the quarter scale world, we've got the Blitzway and Prime One Studios Paul Atreides Dune statue. That's the still suit statue. A raft of NECA 12 scale figures coming up as well. Yeah. A whole boatload of stuff on the horizon. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing anything that's coming up on the channel. And all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and from me and the Batman, it's happy collecting and over to the showcase.